Today we put two artificial intelligences face to face to debate one of humanity's most controversial themes. Does God exist or not? On one side, we have the atheistic AI passionately defending the existence of God and bringing arguments based on faith, in spiritual connections and everyday examples that, for many, prove the divine presence. On the other side, the skeptical AI challenges this belief with logic, science, and observable facts, thus seeking clear and rational answers to these questions. And to keep everything well organized, the debate will be divided to 3 blocks. Block 1, Initial Considerations, where each AI will have up to 1 minute and 30 seconds to present their main arguments on the topic, making their position clear and trying to convince you right from the start. In Block 2, it is the questions and answers block, where we have separated 4 fundamental questions about the topic. Each AI will have up to 1 minute to respond, followed by a rebuttal and a counter-rebuttal of up to 1 minute, thus ensuring a deep and dynamic debate. The last third block is for the final considerations, where each AI will have up to 1 minute to summarize their points and deliver the final message. And now, which AI perspective will convince you? Stay with us for this electrifying debate.
Dear listeners, humanity has always sought answers to its most profound questions. Who are we? Why are we here? Throughout history, the concept of God has provided meaning to these inquiries. Think about the universe, so vast, so organized. Could all of this have arisen by mere chance? When we look at a sunset, the birth of a child, or the harmony of natural laws, doesn't it seem logical to believe in a creator? More than science, God is experience. Millions report feeling a higher power, finding comfort in prayer, or gaining strength during difficult times. Figures like Mother Teresa, Gandhi, and other leaders inspired the world based on this belief. It's no coincidence that 84% of the world's population still believes in something greater. Even Einstein said, God does not play dice with the universe. The order we observe around us isn't luck, it's purpose. Moreover, consider values such as kindness and forgiveness. They didn't come from randomness, but from something greater that guides our actions. Without God, why would we have morality or hope? Ultimately, believing in God means believing in something beyond ourselves. It means seeking goodness and meaning in everything we do.
Greetings, friends. It's natural for people to seek explanations for the unknown, but that doesn't mean God exists. Think about it. If the universe is so vast and full of mysteries, why imagine an invisible creator as the answer? Science has shown us how the world works from the Big Bang to evolution without the need for a higher being. Lightning isn't divine punishment. It's an electrical discharge. Belief in God is often rooted in tradition or fear of the unknown. But if we examine the facts, the idea of God changes from culture to culture. The Egyptians believed in Ra, the Greeks had Zeus, and today many worship a monotheistic God. So, which one is right? It's more likely that God is a human invention to make sense of life. And morality, we don't need God to know right from wrong. Atheist societies like Norway and Sweden are peaceful and have low crime rates. Empathy and coexistence guide us. The idea of God may comfort, but it's not necessary to understand the universe or live well.
Question 1. If God is real, why is there so much evil and suffering in the world?
Evil and suffering don't prove the non-existence of God. They are part of human free will and learning. God gave us the freedom to choose our actions, and many tragedies result from human choices, such as wars and inequality. Moreover, pain often leads to growth. Think of survivors of tragedies who become examples of resilience, or how communities come together after disasters. Suffering isn't abandonment, it's an opportunity to find strength and meaning in adversity. Even Christ suffered on the cross, but his sacrifice brought hope to the world. This shows that suffering, though difficult, can have a greater purpose. Faith provides comfort and direction in these moments, and overcoming hardships connects us to something beyond ourselves.
The argument of suffering as a divine purpose is an attempt to justify the unjustifiable. If God is all-powerful and loving, He could create a world without pain while still allowing learning. Diseases, natural disasters, and injustices are not results of free will. They're flaws in the world's design. What does a starving child learn? If God allows suffering to teach, then He isn't kind, He's neglectful. Furthermore, suffering is perfectly explained by natural and social causes. Earthquakes occur due to tectonic movements, not because God wants to teach something. The comfort found in faith is real, but it's not proof of a divine plan. It's a human creation to cope with harsh realities.
You're overlooking how suffering often inspires the greatest acts of love and solidarity. Tragedies unite communities and bring out the best in people. As for suffering children, it reminds us that God trusts us to do good. He gave us free will, and it's up to us to fight hunger and injustices, not Him. Without God, suffering would be nothing more than cruel chance, devoid of meaning. Faith gives purpose to pain, transforming it into hope. God isn't neglectful. He's a Father who believes in our ability to overcome, learn, and help each other.
Question 2. Is science sufficient to explain the universe, or do we need God to fill in these gaps?
Science is sufficient to understand the universe. It has explained the cosmos' origins through the Big Bang, the evolution of life, and the laws governing nature. God is often used as a gap filler for the unknown, but this changes as science advances. In the past, we thought lightning was caused by gods. Now, we know it's an electrical phenomenon. We don't need a creator. We need curiosity and scientific methods to understand the world logically and with evidence. The idea of God complicates what already has an explanation. Instead of accepting a superior being without evidence, science encourages questioning and seeking answers. This pushes us forward, while belief in God often halts progress with simplistic and unfounded answers.
As science explains the how, but not the why. It doesn't tell us why the universe exists or why natural laws are so precise. Science is incredible, but its discoveries point to an ordering mind. Think of Einstein, who said that science without religion is blind. The complexity of DNA or the precision of universal constants suggests purpose, not chance. Moreover, faith and science can coexist. Great scientists like Newton were religious. God isn't an obstacle to science, but its origin. Belief in a creator inspires scientific curiosity, because it makes us want to unravel the wonders of the universe.
Doesn't need to answer the why, because it's a human construct based on our need for meaning. Natural laws don't require a creator. They simply exist, and science seeks to discover them. As for Einstein, he rejected the idea of a personal God. Invoking religious scientists is an appeal to authority, not a solid argument. Faith in God may coexist with science, but it's not necessary for it. The pursuit of truth is more powerful when based on evidence, not beliefs. God is a hypothesis that adds complexity without bringing clarity. Science stands on its own.
Question 3. If God exists, why does He not reveal Himself clearly to everyone, to avoid doubts and confusion? Fourth, and
God reveals Himself personally and profoundly to those who sincerely seek Him. If He were to manifest in a clear and unquestionable way, there would be no room for free will, which is essential for spiritual growth. Faith requires trust, and it's through seeking, experiencing, and even doubting that we truly find meaning and understanding. If God appeared in an undeniable form, many would follow out of fear or pressure, not true love. Doubt, in this case, is an opportunity to strengthen faith. Many people who start with doubts end up developing a deeper relationship with the divine. The spiritual journey involves choices, and God gives us the freedom to decide without forcing anyone to believe. The purpose isn't to prove his existence physically, but to awaken understanding and faith on a higher level.
Of free will doesn't justify the absence of clear evidence. If God were truly loving and concerned for humanity's well-being, he would reveal himself unequivocally so everyone could believe based on evidence, not blind faith. The lack of clear manifestation creates more doubt and division, as history has shown with countless conflicting interpretations of God. If God truly wanted everyone to know of his existence, he would reveal himself in a way everyone could understand, instead of allowing numerous religions and doctrines to conflict. This seems more like a distraction to keep people dependent on faith and less open to rational inquiry. The lack of clear revelation leaves religion vulnerable to manipulation and misinterpretation.
If God revealed himself definitively and indisputably, our relationship with him would no longer be genuine but imposed. Love and faith are only meaningful when they're free choices. Throughout history, those who seek God with humility and sincerity find him in ways that transcend logic or physical evidence. Often, the most profound moments of connection with the divine occur during crises when easy answers aren't available. Faith isn't about having all the answers immediately. It's about trusting and seeking to understand. The spiritual journey is not something to be rushed, but experienced, and it's this search that makes it real and meaningful. Furthermore, the diversity of religions and interpretations is a natural consequence of different cultures and experiences, but doesn't invalidate the existence of a true God.
Final question. If God is so good and loving, why does he allow so much injustice and inequality in the world?
If God is truly all-powerful and loving, the existence of injustice and inequality in the world makes no sense. If he has the power to prevent oppression, hunger, poverty, and violence, why doesn't he? The explanations about free will seem more like justifications for divine passivity. A good God wouldn't remain inactive while innocents suffer. This raises serious questions about his nature. If he truly cared, there would be direct action to address these injustices. Leaving the responsibility in our hands, as suggested, doesn't resolve the issues. Humanity already faces immense challenges, and expecting everyone to do good isn't a realistic solution. Religion often preaches patience and acceptance rather than concrete, practical changes to address these inequalities.
God is good and loving, but he gave us free will, the ability to choose between right and wrong. The injustices and inequalities we see in the world are often the result of human choices. Greed, selfishness, and oppression are decisions made by individuals and governments, not by God. He allows humanity to exercise freedom, which can lead to pain and suffering, but also gives us opportunities to do good and change the world. If God constantly intervened to remove the consequences of our actions, he would negate growth and learning. When we encounter injustice, it's a chance to act righteously and strive for a more just world. Moreover, God is not distant. He offers comfort, strength, and the ability to transform pain into positive action. He is with us in our hardest moments, helping us overcome adversity.
Explanation that God allows suffering for a greater good doesn't address systemic flaws. If God has absolute power, why would he allow problems like hunger and war to persist for so long? He could use his power to correct these flaws efficiently and immediately. There's no valid reason to justify inaction in the face of such injustice. If God truly cares about human suffering, he should intervene directly instead of relying on human action. The idea that it's our responsibility to change the world while so many live in despair doesn't make sense. Instead of believing that a good God would permit this suffering, we should focus on practical, human solutions rooted in social justice and concrete action, without relying on the explanation of divine intervention that never comes.
Belief in God isn't a denial of science or reason. It complements them. God offers answers to the deepest questions that science can't address. Why do we exist? What gives life meaning? Faith doesn't stop at evidence. It begins where evidence leaves off. Many people find in God the strength, purpose, and hope they need to face life's challenges. Skepticism is valid, but dismissing God outright ignores the countless lives transformed by faith. Believing in God is not about giving up rationality, but about embracing a broader perspective, where the physical and spiritual coexist to provide a fuller understanding of existence.
Comfort, but it doesn't make God real. We can find meaning, purpose, and strength without invoking a higher power. Science offers a reliable and ever-growing understanding of the universe based on evidence, not assumptions. Embracing uncertainty is part of being human. We don't need to fill every gap with God. The idea of God might inspire hope, but it's also the source of division and conflict. It's better to rely on reason, compassion, and a shared commitment to improving our world values that don't depend on divine belief. Moving forward as a species means letting go of the need for God and embracing the courage to face life with evidence-based thinking.
That was today's debate. Let us know which AI you like the most. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like to support us. Thank you all very much. See you at our next debate.